everyone, welcome back to Beyond the Studio Pilates. My name's Hannah and today I want to take you through a little workout that you can put into your day when you're feeling like you really need a bit of a chill out, a bit of a relax. This is a really calming, chilled workout that you can just fit into those moments when you just need a little bit of headspace. I hope you find it really helpful. Okay, so we're going to move into our first mat-based exercise, which is going to be threading the needle. So you're coming into a box, and it's really important that you make a good box to start. It's going to help you with your exercise. So wrist is under your shoulder, knee is under your hip, tilting your pelvis so your tailbone is pointing off towards the back wall. Eye line stays down between your hands. If you find this uncomfortable on your wrists, you can either make a fist or roll something soft up to have under that wrist. Same with your knees. You could put a cushion under your knees if you need to, if there's not enough kind of squish in your mat. Taking an inhale in the middle. Then we're going to exhale and take the right hand through the gap between your left arm and leg. The rotation is coming through that mid-spine, so your thoracic spine is doing the moving. You're looking to where your fingers are going, taking an inhale. And then exhale. Bring that arm back down, hand goes under your shoulder, hold in the middle for an inhale, and then exhale, other side, slow controlled movement, holding it here for an inhale, and exhale, bringing it back to its starting position. Check in with your hands, are they back underneath your shoulders? Holding it here for an inhale. Core engaged, exhale, moving through the gap. Remember, your eye line is following your hand, so you're looking to where your hand is going and then following your hand back. Make sure that rotation is coming through your rib cage. Think belly button to spine, core on, pelvic floor on, holding in the middle for an inhale, and then exhale to the side, holding it there for an inhale, and exhale. Arm comes back to the middle. Check in with those wrists again. Take an inhale in the middle, exhale, other side, stretching out through that arm, try and make it a little bit longer, and then exhale, bringing it back down, taking an inhale in the middle, and exhale, move to the other side. Holding it there, feeling that stretch through your arm, making sure that you haven't leant backwards on your hips, so keeping your hips over your knees. Taking an inhale in the middle, eye line still stays at the floor. Exhale as you move that arm, move to look to where your hand is going. Hold for an inhale. Exhale, back to the middle. One more to each side, belly button to spine, pelvic floor engaged. As you put your hand down, remember, check that it's underneath your shoulder and you haven't moved your hands forward or backwards. Final time here. Through the gap, hold it. And then exhale, back to the middle. And this time you're going to bring your knees and feet together and you're going to come back into a child's pose with your legs together, holding it there, taking an inhale. And exhale. So next, we're going on to our backs. So we're coming down onto our backs, and the first thing we need to sort out is that setup. So your feet should be hip distance apart. Feet are facing forward, knees are in line with your hips and your toes. Core engaged, so think about pulling your belly button towards your spine, ribs down towards your hips, but keeping this little gap under your low back. So if you tilt your pelvis and flatten off your back, I then want you to bring your pelvis back into neutral. So think about where your tailbone would be facing away from you and facing down towards your feet. And that, where that is, there should be a little gap under that low back. Arms are just coming to the floor. From here, core engaged. Going to lift one leg into tabletop. So knees over your hips, shin is parallel with the ceiling. From here, you're going to point your foot to the ceiling, flex your foot towards your face, point your foot back towards the ceiling, and then come back to tabletop. Move from your hip, take that leg back to the floor. Other leg comes up into tabletop. Point your foot to the ceiling, flex your foot towards your face, point to the ceiling, tabletop, and down. Belly button to spine, core engaged, pelvic floor on, keeping everything else nice and still, making sure you're moving from your hip as you take that leg down to the floor. If you want to make it harder, you're going to bring both legs into tabletop, core engaged. So this time you won't, if you've got both legs in tabletop, you're not taking your leg to the floor in between, you're just flexing and extending through that foot and coming back to tabletop. Whichever one you're doing, we're doing 3 more on each side. Keep thinking belly button to spine, core engaged, pelvic floor on and strong. If you've got both legs in tabletop, just check in with that opposite knee. Make sure it's not moving any closer to you. So we're going to do 2 more on each side. Belly button to spine, keeping that little gap under your low back. Final 1 to each side. And then you're going to bring 1 leg down and 2 legs down and give yourself a full body stretch. Okay, from here, keeping your legs out long, bringing your hands to the floor, so arms are just resting on the floor. I want you to really focus on that rib to hip connection, so pulling your ribs down towards your hips so you can feel that connection between your ribs and your hips. Little gap should still be under your low back, so you haven't flattened your back off, you've just pulled your ribs down towards your hips. Gap stays there. Holding it here, you're going to slowly, with control, lift your right leg off the floor. Core engaged, pelvis stays equal, and it's just a little lift, so you haven't got to lift your leg really high, it's just a little lift. Holding it here for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and lower, and left side lifts. And lower, and right side. And lower, and left. Keep thinking belly button to spine, core engaged, right. And lower, and left. And lower, and right. And lower, belly button to spine, pelvic floor engaged, core on, left side lifts, and lower, and back to the right. We're halfway there, you're doing really well. Keep that core engaged, just a little lift through those legs, lifting the left leg. And slowly lower, and again, right leg lifts. And slowly lower. And right. And slowly lower and left. Holding it there, think belly button to spine. 3 more on each side, lifting through the right. And slowly lower and lifting through the left, holding it there. And slowly lower, final 2 on each side, think belly button to spine, core engaged. Lifting the left. And slowly lower, final 1 on each side. Slowly lower, and final 1 here. And slowly lowering that leg back down. From here, bringing both legs into the middle. You're going to bring your arms out a little bit further, glue your ankles and knees together. Core engaged, rib to hip connection. You're going to bring your knees over to one side just as far as you can without your shoulder blade coming off the floor. So your right hand shoulder, or your right shoulder blade stays on the floor. Hold it here. And then exhale, slowly back to the middle, holding in the middle. Core engaged, moving to the other side, keeping that shoulder blade on the floor. And back to the middle. And back to the left. Belly button to spine, core engaged, keeping your shoulder blades on the floor. Your hip can come off the floor and your foot will probably roll off the floor. So this is working into those obliques, so those muscles in your side. And final 2 to each side. Keep thinking belly button to spine, core engaged. Really using those core muscles to pull you back to the middle. So one more to each side here. And then bringing yourself into a full body stretch. And coming back up to sitting. Thanks for joining me for my chilled out workout today. I hope you found it really beneficial. Take a look around my playlists for other workouts you can do from wherever you are, whenever you like. Bye for now.